Hello and welcome to Very Interesting. I'm your host, Phillip Britt. Today we'll be discussing Foster Adopt Connect, an organization about which you may be unfamiliar. But fear not, we have two ladies here to enlighten us about this amazing organization. I am pleased to welcome Stacie McElhaney and Deanna Deehaven. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, we appreciate it. It's we do our best to try to explore and find areas and things in the area that people may not be as aware of, and give you a little bit of a shout out, a little bit of publicity in this instance. And so we're thrilled to have you here today.
We are thrilled to be here.
So tell us, first of all, what is Foster Adopt Connect?
Foster Adopt Connect was started in 1998 by a few individuals and developed into 18 locations across the state of Missouri and Kansas to help foster families and children or grandparents who are taking care of their grandchildren get the resources that they need that are necessary to help them thrive.
So it's my understanding it kind of started off as maybe a support system originally and kind of built out from there. Is that correct?
It's built out from there, yes. We are growing.
So you mentioned that there are 18 different offices around the state. So does that mean they're kind of like hubs for that region? And if so, is Poplar Bluff like the southeast region?
Correct. So Poplar Bluff is our southeast region, and we serve 15 different counties, from Dunklin over to Howell, clear up to Iron County. And while we're serving those counties, we're getting our services out more often.
And what kind of services do you provide for this 15 county region?
So we have several different programs. We have fostering prevention, which helps keep kids in the home, and before they end up going to that next step. And then we have kinship navigation, which is our program that works with fictive kin, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anybody that's raising kids that are not biologically their own. And we have our CCYP program, which is for foster youth that's aging out of the fostering system. And we have our advocacy and training, which is also for families that are currently in the Children's Division section of that.
So do you also train foster parents?
Yes, through our fostering prevention. We have several different what we call nurturing parent programs that allows us to work with those parents to better handle the situations before they become issues.
Sure, absolutely. So I have a question. One of the things that, as I was kind of doing a little bit of research on your agency, I was curious as to how you get connected with the families. Does it come through Children's Division? Does it come through the juvenile offices? How do you get connected with those families?
Some of them will come from the Children's Division, but we have a referral program on our website, which is fosteradopt.org, and anybody can refer somebody. Now, the people have to be willing to go into one of our programs, but yeah, it's just by referrals.
So we also do a lot of public relations. We go to juvenile offices, we go to schools, we do presentations, let them know about our programs and our services, and generally we get a lot of referrals generated from that source also.
Okay, so most of those cases, or most of those situations where they're referred from someone besides the juvenile office or the Children's Division would be pre-removal type cases, is that right? They're worried, somebody's worried that the kids are being neglected or something like that?
It's actually both, because we actually work with kids that have already been foster placed, but then we have like ones that we're preventing from going into the foster system.
Sure, and I'm assuming that's a lot of the referrals you get from the public maybe. Right. So, okay.
And sometimes it may be as far as that they know that the grandparents or an aunt or uncle is taking care of those kids and that they may need additional resources to help.
Sure, and that makes sense because there are a lot of situations where the state may not have gotten involved, but the kids are now living with aunt and uncle or grandparents. A lot of grandparents, I know that. Okay, so and speaking of that, that kind of segues into my next thought. The state of Missouri has a mandate for kinship placement. If there's a kinship placement available, that's where the child is supposed to go before it goes into the foster system. What kind of services do you have for those family members? And you mentioned that the kinship. What kind of services do you have available for those folks?
So our kinship navigation program actually helps them with basic need resources, transportation, medical, mental health, physical health, and anything meeting with their needs because we get with them, find out exactly what kind of resources they need, but we have an array of resources. And we actually, if we cannot offer it through our kinship program, we might offer it through one of our other programs so we could do wraparound services.
How many employees, how many folks do you have working for you right now?
In the Poplar Bluff office, we have 7.
We have 7.
Okay. I mean, that's a lot of work for 7 people. I mean, really, I know how much work it is to connect people to services and services for children especially. And so I admire what you're doing because that is a lot of work. And so many of those families, this may be the first time they've ever been involved in the system, the grandparents or the aunts or uncles that are willing to take the children in, but they don't know how the system works. And so I think you guys are a great resource for that. So I understand how you help the children that have already been removed. You help the foster parents or the kinship placement parents. But talk to me, and I was a little bit confused when I first heard you say the name fostering prevention. I'm like, well, I think we want to be able to foster, but I understand what you're saying. Let's not let them get into the foster system. Let's help them beforehand. So tell me how that works. How does that idea of pre-removal, so getting to them before the state comes in and removes them, how does that work? What services are available for that?
So when we have a referral that comes in, we usually meet with the parents, or it would be the parents that we meet with, and they may have some issues that have raised some red flags, and then we go through our fostering prevention program, which works with the parents to help them with the parenting skills. Not so much like children behaviors, but they have a curriculum that they follow. And one week they may be having trouble with potty training. The next week they may be, not being empathetic with the child's needs. We get a lot of parents that have a lot of lack of skills, if you will. And through our fostering prevention program, our what we call our nurturing parenting program is a lot structured in each subject or, let's say, situation that would come up. And during that time, our fostering prevention meets with them once a week for up to a year. And while they're accomplishing these things, the parent kind of leads the whole teaching session. So they feel like they are accomplishing these goals, and then they're learning the skills that they need to learn to become better parents.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is so many parents who end up the kids that come into the system, they haven't had parenting behavior modeled for them. Their parents may not have done that. We had a lady in our family treatment court who read to her kids for the first time and was just astonished that her children enjoyed her reading to them. Just not something she'd never done, and no one had ever really done it for her. And so she just didn't understand why they would really enjoy it that much. Nurturing parenting is a great curriculum, and I'm thrilled to hear that you're utilizing that. It really does. It really does help, and it really does get them moving in the right direction. So many of them, I assume, you all understand and see. So many of both the children and the parents have suffered trauma at some point in their lives. What do you all do to kind of recognize that and then assist them to work through that?
So in the beginning, when we find out what their situation is, sometimes we have parents that are already, like you said, in drug court, or they're going through the steps to get better. What we do is we find the resources if they have not accessed them yet. There's a lot of resources in our northern counties. They have equine therapy. They have, and we connect with a lot of other providers that offer those services to those parents. The only thing that can be kind of hard sometimes is they've got to be a willing participant.
Sure, and that is a challenge sometimes, because a lot of times they don't recognize their own need.
Correct.
Unfortunately, one of the unfortunate parts of the foster care system, it's always kind of been sad to see for me, honestly, are children that age out of the system. Now, maybe they came in really late, but sometimes they're in the system for years and years, and then they become adults while they're still in foster care. And so I understand that you have resources available to help those now young adults transition from the system they've been in to essentially living on their own.
Right. We have our CCYT program that teaches them how to do the basics of making a budget or doing a checkbook or opening up a checking account. We can help them get their driver's license, or if they don't have their birth certificate or their social security card, we can help them get that also. We help them enroll in school. If they want to go to college, we have resources where we can help them get in college.
And there are I would say there are a lot of resources for those kids who do want to go to college. There are a lot of resources to assist them in financing college. I mean, they deserve at least that. I mean, they've had such a challenging childhood that if they're able and want to, they should be able to go for nothing, in my opinion. So
right. That's exactly why we call it Community Connections Youth Thrive, and that's that program includes ages 17 to 26.
Okay, so you stay with them even after they get
Correct.
they age out essentially. So that's great to hear. How many kids have come through your program?
Last year alone, I served over 260 in the Kinship Navigator program. Our other programs, our caseworkers generally have a full caseload, and sometimes they are put on a wait list, but not for very long. But we have a plethora of families that we've helped and continue to help.
So you're called Foster Adopt Connect. Do you work with foster parents to adopt or others to adopt children through the foster system, or how does that work?
No, we actually don't. And we know sometimes that can be, our title can be a little confusing, but what we do is we refer them to the Children's Division, who does the parenting classes for foster parents.
Sure. Well, and that's important for them to understand that. I mean, the foster parents have to understand, how they're going to do. And I've taught at that class. I've spoken at that class, at the foster parent training classes before too.
Right.
And yeah, it's different. Whether you're wanting to adopt or whether you want to be a foster parent and know that the children are going to be with you for a short period of time and then back into another home. Those are both challenging things and both,
Very much so.
life-changing for those parents.
There are over 1,000 kids in foster care, so they need somebody that is going to be there for them and teach them their life lessons, and that's what we hope to do by providing these resources. We just need them to reach out to us and let us help them.
One of the things that I've seen is a huge shortage of foster parents. Now, I know we try to find kinship placement, but there's not always kinship placement. There's not always, parents may live here and not have any relatives in the area, or not have any that are suitable to take care of their children. That happens quite a bit. And so having these kinds of resources to assist foster parents, because a lot of times I think some folks might be willing to be foster parents, but they don't know what that even means, and they're afraid they'll be like out there on an island. You know, I get the kids here and I may get a stipend of some kind, but what do I do? What if something happens? What if they need something? And have you there to kind of to support them and to give them both ideas and resources and so forth is great to see. You have other ways you support the families. I know one of them is Sammy's Window. Tell us about that, and then what other kinds of support you have for those families.
We do have Sammy's Window at our location in Poplar Bluff. They can come in and shop for free. They can get clothes, they can get diapers, formula. We do have some food items, and you know, we're there to help them. Every month they can come in and shop for whatever they need.
Do those come from donations? How do you stock Sammy's Window?
They do come from donations from the community. We also have some diaper banks that we use, thankfully, and some food banks.
Convoy of Hope.
Convoy of Hope helps us a lot. Yes.
We'll go to Springfield, and we bring SUVs full of supplies back.
Oh wow!
So.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. Are there other direct services that you also provide in addition to Sammy's Window? Are there other direct services?
I think that really depends on what the family needs. We generally provide what they need, and if we can't provide that resource, then we find somebody who can.
That's great. That's great. Okay, I know you're a nonprofit entity, so it's not like you're rolling in the dough. And so how can somebody, if those folks that are watching, how can they support you? How can they give back to, you know, maybe it's someone out there that was in foster care when they were a child, or somebody who's had, you know, some opportunity to be a part of the system and they want to give back now, and this is a way to do that. How can they do that?
So generally we have on our website, we have a donation where they can do a monetary donation, or if they know that watching our Facebook page, we generally have announcements on there that says we're in need of what we call a shout out on our Facebook page, because we get families that come in, they may need bunk beds, they may need household items. So we do a shout out, and we keep a small stock of household items at the center. But if we don't have it in stock, then we either reach out to our resources. We work with Sleep in Heavenly Peace to get beds. And then we just do a shout out on our Facebook page to ask for other items needed for these families.
So when you ask for specific items, how long does it take for somebody to respond?
Generally very quickly. We have an amazing community, and Hope International helps us out, and just asking for these items, I can't even tell you how thankful we are for the communities that we serve and how much they come together to help these families.
It has to be an amazing feeling, because you know that family at this point is desperate. They have no other way to get the resources they need, and you say, hey folks, we need this, and immediately you have probably 2 or 3 people that say, hey, I've got that.
Right.
That's pretty amazing. Any other fundraising events, any other things that you've got going on?
We usually do our tall and small ball once a year, and then in between we come up with ideas like a 5K run and a color run, and it just kind of depends on what the year brings. And
sounds like a lot of running. I don't know.
Yeah. So I guess it just depends on what we have going on and who comes up with an idea. But our 2 big events are the golf tournament and our tall and small ball every year.
I know what a golf tournament is. Tell me what the tall and small ball is.
So the tall and small ball is kind of, if you can relate to a daddy-daughter dinner dance, this is foster parents.
I love it.
And their kids that get to come and dress up in ball gowns. And we have last year's theme was Under the Sea. And so we had mermaids there, we had King Triton there, we served a full dinner, the kids got what we call our swag bags, and just had a lovely evening. and it turned out really good.
Oh, that's great. That's
We
great
did
to hear.
have an organization donate 500 backpacks with minimal supplies for back to school. So on August 1st and 2nd, we're handing out backpacks.
Wow, 500
To anybody who's
backpacks.
500
That's great.
backpacks.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you want the folks that are going to tune into this to know about Foster Adopt Connect?
As if they have anybody that they know, struggling or not, they could use extra support, extra services, go on our webpage, which is fosteradopt.org. And each of our programs are at the top bar, and you can read on our programs and just click on that bar, and then there's either a get help button or it says referral, and then you put in the information from there, and it gets filtered through our managers, and then we reach out to the families.
Well, that's great. Thank you so much for coming to be with us today and sharing all this amazing information. It's not something that I knew a lot about, and I kind of consider myself to be knowledgeable of the system, and so I'm thrilled to know this resource is available. Thank you to Stacie and Deanna for being with us today and sharing with us about Foster Adopt Connect. You heard how you can get involved, how you can give to support this agency, or if you want to play in the golf tournament, we'll have all that information available for you. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.